Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for October 18th, 2020, with your host, Peacemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hello.
It's the end of Build Fighters.
Kind of good turn and all.
Maybe the show will finally pick up.
It doesn't. I'm at walk away. At least before when we had 0-1 to kind of be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Now, not so much.
Hence part of the reason why I'm feeling like I might pick up Gundam again. Try to give it. Granted, I also kind of possibly.
Well,
granted, I didn't watch technically the finale. Count the Drive Ghost crossover.
I mean, to be honest, you could probably skip that.
Oh, I've looked at it twice. Like I should watch you. Because technically it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it only matters if you want to watch the stuff after it that Tamari shows up in.
Except
fair. But we ignore Genesis. It is entirely 100% ignorable.
It's that thing that the entire time we were doing. Ghost doesn't because they forgot to write it in, or even itself.
Well, we got 5 episodes of Build Fighters to run through. We'll go 3-2 on this since the last 2 episodes serve as a nice 2-part finale. Because our middle episode is a weird break episode, kind of.
Yeah. Kind of.
I also love in context, it's just like, oh hey, the finals are now decided. Time to take a week break before we actually do that final match.
I mean, we've got to get the 25 episodes.
I don't think it did.
Okay. You got quiet. I was like, usually when it gets quiet, like, counting them.
Well, any thoughts before we get rolling into this?
No, like I said, I'm kind of just right now. We're done with it. Gotta go back. There's a reason we walked away from it for a bit.
To be fair, we always have Build Fighters try if we need another break from Ichigo again.
Part of me feels like at this point we ought to just power through it. The other part of me like like if it doesn't pick up, then It's got to give something. I'm kind of getting tired of we're not really progressing because I don't know. I can't even say because reason.
Let's get rolling into the episodes proper. So we're kicking off with episode 21, Amid the Glittering Particles. So we pick up where we left off last week with Reggie questioning why Aina is Isla and why she proceeded to murder Ricardo's Gundam really hard after the match was over. Also, I just now learned that I just now paid attention enough to know that her support person's name is Nines.
Yeah. You know, I don't even think that was...
No, it was like that break episode.
Yep.
I think that's actually the first time he might be named in the series.
It's my day. Which is kind of funny.
But yeah, more or less, shithead support person is just like, you must be mistaken. And Reggie's like, I don't fucking care. You fucking were dishonorable. We're gonna whip your ass. And I'm pissed about it. I'm leaving. He also names dropped his planet, which gets the chairman all up in a tizzy because he's a fucking child. And he's just like, oh no, he's from there for realsies this time. Oh no. I'm worried over nothing because I'm a baby.
You know, to be fair, I can kind of understand a little bit more of why he was so worried about Reggie remembering any. With what we find out about him, it's just a shame that we wait so long to find out that.
I think it's because it ultimately doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And it just so shows how fucking pitiful and pathetic he is, of just like, it literally doesn't matter. When your whole backstory is finally revealed, it doesn't matter because you're just a shithead of a person.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like it would have made it a little more justifiable than he's just trying to be a troll.
Yeah.
Because that's really what the show kind of puts it across as, is he's just trying to troll him for unknown reason.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas there's an actual reason that I can at least kind of understand.
It's a shame in the montage we get at the end of the series he's not in jail, because fuck this asshole.
Yeah, that would have been funnier.
Yeah. Anyway, after that, we cut to that afternoon where the gang is discussing what the hell is going on. And they actually name dropped the rage mode for the Sailor Moon Gundam that was actually showed off earlier in series. Which is kind of a funny callback. But of course they write it off. It's just like, God, that can't happen. That's illegal. They wouldn't do that. And I go, you sure about that?
Yeah, they're episode later. Otherwise,
yeah. Also, Reggie doesn't want to hear any of this because he just wants to punch something, so he just leaves because he needs to go punch something.
Or in this case, someone.
Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, over in Nemesis Prime, Isla's being looked over, and they pretty much go, she doesn't want to fight. That's why she's not doing the things she normally does. And the guy's like, fucking, you need to fight because it's your job, but fuck you. I'm an asshole. And a terrible human being.
Yep.
And at this point, we actually get Isla's backstory of more or less, she was an orphan who apparently can see the particles, which allows her to more or less see when or see how Gundams are going to move and stuff, so she can more or less predict Gunpla battles. And this got the eye of her shithead support person, and that got her pulled into their academy thing or whatever. And so they built her a suit to make it better, and now she's can just pretty much see the future. I'm not sure if that's how the particles work in this instance, but okay, sure.
Sure.
But we go back over to Save for a second to see him trying to figure out how to help both of them, because he knows Reggie just feels shitty about the whole situation. And he's like, well, this girl doesn't seem like a bad person from the 2 times I've met her on accident. But we end up cutting back over to Reggie, who's pissed and angry, and Ricardo shows up and is just like, alright, you want to blow up some steam? Let's fight! For real! Because that's what Ricardo thinks he needs, and apparently that turns out to be exactly what he needs. So the two of them proceed to beat the shit out of each other for a while. As we check in with Alia, as she more or less is now distraught about the entire situation because, you know, she doesn't want to do this. She just doesn't want to be in poverty anymore. And now that she's had some good people in her life, it's like, oh no, I gotta fight them, and I don't wanna. But at this point, Say's figured out his plan. And with Cheetah's help the next day, Cheetah actually ends up giving the gem that Reggie gave Say all the way back at the start of the show to Isla in the form of a necklace. Because I guess Say figures that what's going to happen will happen, or something of that caliber.
I don't think he thought exactly what happened would happen, but yeah. Something of that nature, at least.
Yeah. But before the match properly starts, Reggie just pretty much goes, I'm thinking, I need to stop thinking, because my job in this relationship is not to think. So I'm just gonna not think about it, and I'm just gonna punch things.
Which is what he's good at.
Yep. So we get our match start, and to counter the Claire funnels, apparently Say has loaded up Star Build with paint bullets in the head, which I have the question of A, how, and B,
How?
how? Yeah, how? Wait, how did you make these bullets? Because those are tiny. Those are tiny, tiny bullets. And how did you load them in the Star Build? I'm confused, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
So they clear out those. Mm-hmm. But they clear them out, and now Alia tries to fight them, but she's not feeling it, so she's missing. Which at this point, Nine's shithead support person is like, well, fuck this, turn on the rage mode. So now she's in the rage mode and is more or less on autopilot. And she dodges all of their attacks and pretty much destroys all their weapons. Which is normal. Unfortunately. They have not had a fight, really, where they have not lost every single one of their weapons.
Yeah.
In the exact order they lose them in this fight, too.
Yeah.
Because first it's the shield, then it's the gun, and then it's the backpack. Like, there is no point for the mech to have any sort of gun because it loses it too fast. It just needs to punch things harder. Which is weirdly a lesson that Build Fighters Try does, because it's just like, okay, our main mech is designed to punch things. What if it only punched things, and that's it? What if it just did fancy ways of punching you?
To be fair, that's like Reggie's type of...
Except it's not piloted by Reggie.
Except I feel like it should.
Well, it was. It was supposed to be, but it got picked up by someone else because the story of Try. So, anyway, we'll get there whenever we talk about the series. So, in this fight, Star Build ends up losing an arm because the arms are the first thing to go on Star Build when we need it to take major damage.
Well, I mean, it does have the punch, so of course.
Mm-hmm. And they get backed up into a corner, and they're surrounded by funnels, and they're gonna get shredded. Except Alia triggers the gem, which triggers Reggie's gem, and then they get to have a talk in the spirit realm or something. Also, we now find out the chairman also has one of them fancy gems in a pocket watch of his, and he actually calls it Rista.
Yeah, was that just a name that he had for it, or was that actually the name of it?
I don't know. Maybe? It might have been the name of it. But in the spirit realm, Reggie and Isla get to talk, and Isla just doesn't want to fight, but she has to because it's like she needs it to not be a poverty. But Reggie pretty much goes, well, how about you say, fuck them, and you just go solo? It's fine. I get by solo. If you need a place to stay, come stay with us. It's fine.
Yeah.
And
yeah, he just loves extending himself for no reason.
yeah. I love also how Reggie's like, oh, you can stay at this house that's not mine at all. That won't bite me in the ass later. But yeah, this allows Alia to just break out of it. And then she's like, well, I didn't want to fight you because I would win. And then Reggie's like, no, I would win in this fight. And now they fucking argue about it while punching each other. If just fucking have a time, as it leaves everyone confused.
Immensely confused.
Including Say for some reason. Who should be the least confused person in this situation?
I think with Say, it's more it's not so much he's confused, it's more that he's stunned this is happening at this particular moment.
That these two idiots are drifting together and just being dumbasses together.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Say, have you not seen them interact before? They are incredibly dumbasses together. That is their entire shtick. But anyway, they do get out for a little bit. Reggie tells Say to turn on the RG system so he can go punch her really hard, and he does, and then Say and Reggie win. Because she's like, I can see the prediction, and it turns out, oh, I can't dodge this.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Okay.
Yeah, she's kind of screwed on that one.
Yep. But yeah, punch real hard. That goes boom. Say and Reggie move on to the finals. Post fight, Ollie and Reggie share a drink. As Say then finds out about Reggie making that promise. He's like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? And Cheetah is also confused by this, and I just look at Cheetah every time she is like, why? And I just go, you do realize she's not after Sei, right? Like, you're completely fine in this scenario. She's only after one person in this series, and it's not Sei. So that brings us to episode 22, Meijin versus Meijin. We check in with Yuki, because I forgot to write about this. Do you remember his stupid line when the lights went on? I think it was something stupidly dramatic of just like, is this the light of the heart or some other shit? And I'm like, Yuki, you are in your hotel room with your fucking support person. Why are you spouting dramatic bullshit? What are you doing? You're not even near anyone.
But he's got to be in character. For reasons.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yuki and Alan are finishing up the amazing Exie, as it will be called, for the next round. And we find out that Yuki took the title of Meijin more or less to change what it meant to be Meijin, because the previous Meijin was just an asshole. He was just a ruthless asshole, and he wants something better out of it.
Also, and more on that later.
Yeah, and therefore being a better example of what it means to be a fighter for everyone else. So that's the entire reason the Yukis took this title. But we also find out who Yuki's next opponent is. It's some 70-year-old man who's fought the other Meijins, I believe.
At least the one before Yuki, because I know he said something about fighting the second one.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fought all three. If he would fought the other one as well.
Probably.
But anyway, Rao's meeting up with him to talk to him about it, and the guy then proceeds to have a heart attack. Oh no! So the next day, we find out that Alia's staying with Sei and Reggie because apparently she can't stay in her own hotel room that she was staying in the entire time because
reasons
she's not allowed to, even though Mao is still here and presumably living in the same hotel room along with Niels.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, her being there gets Sei in all sorts of hot water because Rinko and Cheetah drop by with lunch, and then they show up and she's there, and they're not happy about it. Rinko's like, she can't stay here. She's coming with me to the end because no, I'm not allowing this. But she also finds out about Reggie promising that she can stay with them. And she just gives him this look of like, Reggie, you can't do that. You're not allowed that at the moment. You just got here. But this does lead Alia to say, like, no, fine, if I can't stay with them, I'm staying with you exclusively. And then Reggie brings up the whole, I'm from an alien planet, you can't come with me because I can only teleport one person, which technically this
is wrong.
Yeah, because technically the finale proves him wrong.
Not once, but twice?
Well, the second time is technically Alia transports herself. She doesn't get transported with Reggie because he wasn't near Reggie when he teleported.
Okay, but he was making it sound like she couldn't come with.
Right. Which is wrong because of the other teleport from the finale.
Okay, but it's technically wrong for both.
Yeah.
Because if you believe the way that she did to be completely true also, then yeah, there is actually another way. Like, yeah, yep, get proven wrong twice there, Reggie. Way to go. All within, what, about 30 seconds of each other kind of deal?
Pretty much. But yeah, the whole alien planet situation gets brought up and everyone laughs it off because it's like, Reggie, he thinks he's an alien, which is true. And everyone's gonna start believing it by the time we're done. I'm just like, shit, he was an alien. Huh. Go figure. So Rinko takes Alia to stay at the inn with her in China, because I guess China's also at the inn. Even though I thought she was staying with family.
I think she is. I think at this point is when Rinko tries to get her to stay at the inn too.
Yeah.
Because I think there was a line mentioning that.
Okay. But after all them leave, Niels drops by and is like, hey, how did that light show happen? And Reggie's like, my orb glowed. Niels is like, can I have it? I want to study it. And Reggie's like, okay. He's just like, sure, take it. Have fun. I'm going back to bed now.
I love the fact that he doesn't even question why. He's just like, yeah, sure.
He doesn't even question how that happened. He's just like, yeah, I glowed, and I went to the spirit realm, and I talked to Alia for a little bit, and then I came back, and then we punched each other. This is why he needs Sei to share a brain cell with, because he clearly does not have one. Because he is not putting two and two together at this point. In any capacity.
Which makes it even more ridiculous the way that the chairman decides he wants to keep being completely scared of Reggie for no reason. Reggie does not have the brain power to put two and two together to even figure out anything.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we check in with the old man as his grandson Julian drops by to check on his grandfather, and he more or less gets conned into taking his grandfather's place and gets given his old gunpla to go fight with. Because this is all a ruse by his grandfather, who's not having a heart attack, I assume.
I don't know. I feel like the first time might have actually been, but yeah, from there, no.
Yeah. I'm just like, did you fake a heart attack in front of Raul so he could take you to the hospital to set up the situation and then tell him after the fact, no, I didn't have a heart attack?
I don't feel like he would have. Because it also feels like, you know, Raul completely was going along with it, so it wouldn't have been a case of, why are you... I would feel like that would have been more of a case of, he would have been like, why are you faking this in front of me?
Mm-hmm.
Although I do love the touch that they got the doctor in on it.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny too.
Apparently my mom's home because my dog's going in. Like, doing that. So let me go deal with him real quick and I'll be back.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hello? Okay. I had to take care of some stuff real quick. Alright, so we are back over to Rinko as her and Sheena hear about Alia's backstory. And Rinko's like, no, you're staying with us. You got a lifetime pass to stay with us because secretly you're my second chance of getting grandkids. And technically she does. Because it is canonical that Reggie and Isla do have a kid. Because she shows up in Build Fighter Tries movie. So it is canonical that they do have a kid who is smarter than both of them. By some magical instance. But we check back in with Julian as he's inspecting his old Gunpla. And Mal drops by wanting a match because he's antsy and wants to fight something. So he fights Julian. And we skip a little bit to see Niels drop by. And he sees that the Gundam X Mal is pretty much sliced into pieces. And Mal's reaction is he got demolished. So, welp. But at this point, Yuki receives word of the fighter change, and finding out it's Julian makes him go, "Oh no, we might lose." And by "we might lose," it is we have a 90% chance of losing because I've technically never beaten this person ever.
Yeah.
But Say and Reggie see the remains of Gundam X Mal as we get Julian's backstory over with Yuki. More or less, he was at the same academy that Yuki was for Gundam stuff. Actually his senior, and was also the next in line for Meijin until he quit. Because he didn't like the second Meijin's mentality, and he's like, fuck this, I'm out. And has straight up quit Gunpla altogether for the last, I think, 3 years? That's what they said.
I believe so.
So he's been out of the scene for 3 years. And Yuki even notes this, like, yeah, I fought him 7 times at the academy. I never won once. So this is the 8th time I'm fighting him. Our chances are slim. But meanwhile, Raul decides to be the one to inform Julian that, hey, the Meijin you're fighting, it's your old buddy Yuki. Just so you're aware of that. Okay, bye. I don't know why Raul needs to tell him this. It seems unnecessary, but okay. So we cut to the next day where the two of them start to have their fight. They initially clash with Yuki's amazing Exia and Julian's F91 before they just back off and then just stare each other down, waiting for someone else to make the first move. Because this match is a game of counters. But shortly into the fight, we see that the F91 has more or less a speed mode that apparently chips the paint off, which is why it has an afterimage effect on it. I don't know why they need to explain it that way, because that makes no sense in my head.
Yeah, it don't really to me either.
If it's rubbing the paint off, wouldn't there be, like, no paint after a long enough fight?
I mean, I would think.
Yeah. But anyway, as a speed mode, and that lets it outrun the Exia. Even though the Exia still can, like, counter, even against the speed mode with no power-ups on it. but they're trading fire and stuff. And they're not really able to hit each other. And right in the middle of the fight, they clash again, and Yugi decides, you know what? Fuck this. I'm vacating the title for a little bit because I need to fight him as me, not as the title, because I have to be dramatic in every instance, in every fight I'm in.
Bang.
I don't...
To be fair.
Like, if you're vacating that title, Yuki, take off your goddamn drama shades. Even though they do save her ass in like 5 seconds. Because he ends up having like a mouth laser shot at him by Julian. And the only reason he dodged it is because the shades didn't make the shot look as bright as it did. So he had time to dodge it. And at this point, he's like, well, fuck this, turn it on my super mode, which is his Trans Am mode, which I think Say explains it as it triples the performance of the Gundam, but it is technically a time limit because once it times out, the performance just shits the bed.
Which is a double-edged sword, big time.
Uh-huh. So now glowing red. The two of them duel at speeds, counter for counter, until Yuki gets the upper hand, knocks Julian out of his speed mode, and pretty much slices him in half and ends the fight. And with this, Julian is like, oh, you just want to fight me heads up. That's better than the last guy. I'm cool with that. Also, I want to fight someone more again. I enjoyed this. So he's kind of more or less unretired after this. And the two of them shake hands. And after the ending song, we find out that Niels has figured out that Reggie's gem is in fact a crystal version of the Blavatsky particles. It's a condensed crystal version of them. So we get moving on the plot.
Yay.
3 episodes from the end. Which brings us to episode 23, Gunpla Eve. We see Yuki check in with the second Meijin, who's bedridden and probably in a coma, and he pays his respects before he leaves to go join the Gunpla Fair, whatever it's called, festival thing that takes place the week before we do the final match. And Kira actually introduces the festival, and the life-size RX-78 Gundam and the life-size Zaku that are on display, which, just for reference, because I put a picture in the notes, the life-size RX-78 is real. That's a real thing that exists. And I think they've now built a life-size, like, Unicorn Gundam that also does the transformation and stuff. Because I've seen, like, I saw pictures float around from people of it doing, like, Kabuto's, like, pose. Because they were testing out the arm movement and stuff on it. So yeah, during a montage of stuff that's going to be at the festival, Riko's actually spotted on camera by Sei's dad, and he's like, "Ah, shit, he's been there the whole time. I need to go." And I think he gets shit talked by an actual Gundam character.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was a certain person of importance or not, kind of deal.
I think that's the main rival character from the original series. I think. I have no idea. All I know is I think that's an actual Gundam character that shit talked him for 5 minutes, for 5 seconds, for no reason. So anyway, he's now trying to hitch a ride to the tournament, to the fair. And we check in with Alia and China, who are with Rinko, and they eventually decide, hey Alia, you want a new Gundam? Let's go build you a new Gundam. That will get to exist for like half an episode, more or less.
Yeah.
We check in with the chairman as he continues to plot to take out Sei and Reggie from the tournament. And this is where Baker goes, I have got a plan! Let's recruit fucking Team Nemesis support Man 9s to go make some evil drama shades for Yuki, as we'll find out. Because, fuck you and your fair fights.
A fair fight? Who needs that?
So we check in with Sei and Reggie, who are enjoying the fair, and Mao's with them, and he's all down because his Gundam's broken, and Misaki doesn't like him anymore, except not. So his master shows up and is just like, I'm gonna whip you into shape, come with me! It drags him off for parts unknown. But we also sporadically check in with people competing for a lifetime supply of Gunpla. And it's the guy from the first episode that I can't think of the name of. Gorilla Guy from the next episode after that. Ricardo. Kira even shows up to dunk on Ricardo and show how much he's whipped in comparison. Poor guy. And some other people are competing for it. I don't remember who wins this. Did they show who wins this?
I don't think they ever did.
Yeah.
Because I think we kind of got a mash cut of different battles, and then it leads into the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because eventually we see that Yuki's actually helping Alia build her new Gunpla. As Sei and Reggie stumble across them. But before we check in with them, we gotta check in with Niels and Caroline, because she has to be here, I guess, as they're following a truck to go find the secrets of the Plapsky particles. But after that quick scene, we're back over to Yuki as he pretty much goes, because he talks to Sei and Reggie like outside the fairgrounds and goes, the reason I went the way I am is because of your father, Sei. He taught me the good things about Gunpla, and I'm trying to share those by making the Maging title better than it once was, and that's the whole reason I'm doing this. So let's go whip each other's asses in the finals the right way, more or less. So this eventually prompts Sei and Reggie to later on go back to the fairgrounds and decide to fight each other, with Reggie using his beginning Gundam and Sei using the Mark II. And we don't see the end of this fight, actually. Unfortunately, we never see the end of the fight between Sei and Reggie, because they do fight later in a different piece of media for Build Fighters, but we also don't see the end of that fight. So we don't get to see who is the better fighter out of the two of them. But at this point, we montage through the rest of the week. Sei and Reggie are tuning up Star Build. China and Alia finish Alia's new Gunpla, Miss Sazabi. Mao and Misaki get back together because I guess his master Brooke called her over, so they're doing Gunpla stuff. Ricardo's watching one of Kirya's concerts. I think Gorilla Guy and somebody else meet Luang randomly for some reason. I don't remember. Is there anything else in the montage?
I think you got it, actually.
Yeah. But the montage ends with Rinko and Sei's dad getting back together. So they have a little reunion with Sei. And then Reggie gets to salute his Sei's dad because Sei's dad's just like, hey, you remember me? And he's just like, ah, yeah, you. But it's all good things until the last 2 minutes of the episode where Niels and Caroline find a massive plastic particle crystal beneath the stadium. And that's the thing that's been used to power all of the stuff in the stadium. And they get confronted by Baker and a bunch of security. And the next day for the finals, we see that Yuki now has evil drama shades and a black version of the amazing Exia, which I think is technically called the Dark Matter Exia. And more or less, he has big vibes of, I am big bad. And we end up ending the episode there. So how'd you feel about the first half?
First little over half.
Yeah.
I felt like it was good. I do feel like the break episode we got was kind of that weird. We needed it, but at the same time, we probably could have dealt without it too.
It feels like it's here just to give the audience a breather before the gut punch finale of, oh yeah, you thought you were going to have a nice, happy finale? Nope.
Yeah.
Surprise, we have a big bad guy that you get to punch. Maybe. Yeah, I dug the first two. The middle episode's fine. It's a fine breather episode, but yeah, we could have probably done without it and took that content and mixed it in. I'm not sure how without rewriting a bunch of episodes before this.
Yeah. Like, it all works the way it is. I don't feel like anything feels super out of place.
Mm-hmm. But anything else before we hit the last two episodes?
No?
Alright, then we kick off our last two episodes with episode 24, Dark Matter. So we flash back to Yuki being kidnapped by the chairman and getting the mind control drama shades on because they're apparently using the same things they used on Alia to give her rage mode to make Yuki just in rage mode all the time. And also give the chairman complete control of him because I guess we can do that now. Whatever. Okay, sure. Also, specifically through the gem that he has on his pocket watch, because that's a plot point by the end of the episode. But back in the present, the aura Yuki gives off pretty much makes everyone go, uh-oh, that's not right. He feels like the second Beijing. That's not cool. Again, big bad guy vibes off of him. But we kick off the fight between Yuki, Sei, and Reggie, and Yuki immediately attacks them out of the spawn point area thing, and then proceeds to lay into them for the rest of the fight, because this Yuki is just like murder, 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 murder.
Must kill.
Mm-hmm. We also see that Caroline and Niels are locked up down in the basement. I forgot to write about the scene where Caroline's secretary or bodyguard drop kicks the door to break them out. I forgot to put in that wonderful scene, but that happens at some point in the middle of all this. So just be aware that happens when they get to show up later. But while this assault is happening, we also find out that the chairman was just some petty thief on Reggie's homeworld, and he ended up stealing the crystal, and it teleported him to Earth. And then he hooked up with Baker at some point, and then they went, why don't we make Gundams move and just make a shit ton of money? And therefore they made a shit ton of money. And then Baker's just like, well, with this technology we could rule the world. And the chairman's like, I don't wanna, that'd be hard. That's too much work. I just want money. This is the threat of the bad guy we have in the series, where he's just like, I could take over the world, but it's hard. I don't want to do the hard thing. He's so pathetic, and I like that he's meant to be this pathetic, pitiful person.
Yeah.
But back into the fight. Actually, Nines is in control of the field changes. So he field changes it to like this hallway area. So Sei and Reggie get backed into a corner by Yuki, and they get impaled on the wall by Yuki's swords. So now they're stuck there as Yuki just lays into them for no other reason than to just be an asshole and just beat the shit out of them. Sei's dad wants to intervene, but he's just told, like, no, let this play out. The kids got it. By, I think, Mao's master, technically. He's just like, let the kids figure this out. It's fine. Even though I would have liked to see Sei's dad punch the chairman out.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
That would have been nice and cathartic. Anyway, actually, at this point, Alia manages to intercept the instructions the chairman's giving. So she then contacts Reggie through the gems and is just like, by the way, he's being mind controlled. And this pisses the both of them right the fuck off. Of just like, you fucking interrupted our goddamn match with this bullshit? No, fuck you. We're gonna punch him back to, you're gonna punch the evil out of him, and we're gonna make this right. And I love that is the short and long of their plan of, we're just going to punch them really hard and it will fix everything. And again, Sei agrees to this plan. Because it's Reggie's plan.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. So in order to start facilitating this, they end up detaching one of their arms and then slamming the wall behind them hard enough to break them off, get them off the wall so they can rip the sword out and then start to attack Yuki, who turns on the Trans Am mode at this point, but there's no point because it's a real small hallway. So it's not going to do him any favors, so they give chase. And they then get dunked back out in space, where Yuki proceeds to attack them in the Trans Am mode, and then sends his bird drone thing that he has that is, like, souped up with the Trans Am, like, super mode, because it's all in a module thing that's on the back, and that's the core of the bird. So he sends that after Sei and Reggie, but they just use the gate things that the Star Build has for some of its attacks and stuff to more or less disable the bird drone's shield and send the sword at like Mach speed into the bird to destroy it. But now the Exia still has the Trans Am mode, so they turn on RG mode. And at this point, I just want to make the note of the first opening has now kicked in. So the first opening is playing for the rest of this fight, because that is Gundam build fighters / build fighters mantra of, we're going to give you both openings as really cool fight, like in the fight moments. So now they're battling each other in their super modes. Yuki's still just wailing on Star Build, just getting around its attacks and pretty much hitting where it's damaged. Until Say and Reggie spot their missing arm. So they go, slam the thing back on the slot. So they now have 2 fists. And what is better than punching person with 1 fist than punching them with 2 fists? So they charge up a double build knuckle and charge at Yuki, who charges them with a couple of laser swords out of his wrists. And I guess punch beats sword again. Again, because they break the swords, slam the fist into the chest of the Exia, destroy the black paint job that was on it to return it to normal, which also reverberates back to Yuki and breaks his drama shades. Because that's how this works.
Yeah, somehow.
And it also unfurls the scarf that Yuki's been wearing this entire fight. For, like, no reason. Why does he have the scarf?
Reasons.
But anyway, after this clash, the Star Build gets up first, and so Sei and Reggie are declared the winners. And they go talk to Yuki, who pretty much goes, "Yeah, the chairman kind of brainwashed me, so Reggie now has an excuse to go punch him, except because of the chairman's fucking baby bullshit. It causes the crystal that's underneath the stadium to go into overdrive, and now it's spawning crystals all over the stadium, and now it is overriding pretty much the entire stadium of itself and creating a field that a giant fortress is spawning in now. Oh no. Way to go, asshole. You've now endangered the lives of everyone in the stadium. For no reason. Did your petty bullshit. But that takes us to our final episode, episode 25, Promises. So at this point, Rinko, Ral, Miles Master, Sei's dad, all of them start to start to get people evacuated out of the stadium. Because, like I said, crystals are forming all over the stadium. The stadium is being, like the normal field where all the Gundams are fighting in has expanded outside into the full stadium itself. And a massive fortress has spawned and now has the crystal at the center of it, and it has broken through the roof of the stadium and is now floating above the stadium. Which is, not good. So pretty much all of our main characters gather together to evacuate. Before the chairman is just like, "Reggie, save us, please. I'm sorry. Please save us because you're the prince and stuff." And I love how Reggie is like, "I want to punch you. I really do. I want him to punch him." Unfortunately, the most we're going to get is him putting him in a headlock. At least punch him in the nuts.
At least headlock works.
Yeah. But this is when Niels arrives to pretty much go, "Look, we gotta blow this up now, because if we just leave this alone until someone decides to deal with it, it could get out further. And considering as long as something's in this field, all the Gundams and stuff are real, and they're shooting real lasers and real bullets and stuff, that's a bad thing. So we need to shut this down now." So Neil starts to get his stuff hooked up, and this kind of makes everyone just go, "Well, guess we're going to blow this up now." So everyone pretty much squads up to go take care of it, including Sei, because he's not being the support seat now. He's getting the Mark II up and running for this. So him, Kira, Ricardo, Alia, Gina, Caroline, Niels, and Reggie all squad up, all get their Gundams in play, and all go beat the shit out of this fortress thing. And bear in mind, Reggie's in the star build that is, I would say, barely holding together after its fight with the Exia.
Yeah.
And the only reason Yuki's not in this fight currently is because the Exia currently has a giant fist-shaped hole in its chest. Luckily, Alan arrives so they can get it repaired so you can go punch something himself. But outside, Rinko and the others soon realize, ah shit, the kids are still inside. Ah shit, the kids are about to do something stupid. We need to go help them. So they start heading back to go help, as we see everyone approach the fortress. And they are met by a massive swarm of generic non-Gundam drones that are labeled as like knockoff Gun Plus. That are the chairman's creation because of fucking course it is. It's not enough of his fault until the drones are all his thing, and now it's much more his fault. So now we get a nice little montage of everyone fighting and everyone just blowing up swarms of these things, only to have more of them show up. Because everyone's got to get their last minute, like, cool moments before the series is over. But, they get support, they get some backup, because Mao shows up with his new crossbone, Mao Gundam, and it blows a hole in the fortress. So, say Reggie, China, and Alia can go in and go after the crystal, because I guess these four are the best ones to do it. I'm not sure why no one else went with them.
Yeah.
Because just for reference, folks, Jaina is still using her little bear guy Gundam. That, is not that impressive compared to everyone else in this fight. And also, she is the least experienced fighter here by, a good bit. And she's on the front lines.
Yeah.
But we stay with everyone out.
Thinking with that one, I don't think.
Yeah. But we stay with everyone outside as they continue to try to keep everyone off. Hi, Charizard. Yeah, talk about the stars when I was doing Clue, because it just got announced when I was starting Clue. The next CSM's the Sengoku driver, and more, because there's the and more thing on the announcement. And I guess next week we find out about the Gaiden thing. I'm curious what it all comes with, like how many lock seeds are going to be in this release of the Sengoku driver. And how many and like how much more will be in that extra set you have to buy? Anyway, we stick with everyone outside and see them continue to fight as more help arrives in the form of Mao's master, who's using, coincidentally enough, the Master Gundam from G Gundam. And yes, it's shooting Hadokens and doing kicks and stuff is completely accurate. That's normal. And Ral and his fancy Zaku. And then they proceed to take out a big old chunk of them with a team attack because they haven't gotten to do anything all season. Let's give them a cool moment. Although I do appreciate that the Master Gundam just starts throwing Hadoukens at people. But after they wrap up, a massive beam gets fired out from inside the fortress. And we see that both China and Alia's Gundams are shredded. And then we flash back to see that Alia saw the particles moving for a beam attack of some kind in this tunnel they were in. and she moved to push Reggie out of the way, and Cheetah followed and pushed Sei out of the way, and they got caught in the beam. And now, for whatever reason, the two of them are trying to protect them. Protect specifically their Gundams in this fight that they are not in the actual pilot seats of.
Yeah.
Because it's not how this works.
At all.
So I don't know why they're doing this. Granted, they can't really go that much further until backup arrives, because now Yuki arrives, turning on Trans Am to more or less cut a path towards them. And Sei's dad shows up in a souped up, I think, RX-78 as well, to more or less blow a hole in the wall so Sei and Reggie can go. So the two of them take off towards the crystal. And again, I will note, now the second opening is playing for this big hero moment for the two of them. So they make it to the crystal, but it has like pretty much it's blowing a wind back at them to prevent anyone from getting close. So they can't advance much further, and they're just holding steady until Sei decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the backpack off the Mark II, shove it onto the star build, and I guess it soups it up super hard because they punch it twice with a hyper build knuckle and blow up the crystal. And I do appreciate that the star build is actually damaged enough that it has two different eye colors now.
Yeah. That was a nice touch.
Yeah. So they finally blow up the stones, or the big gem. It shatters. It starts... The plastic particles start dissipating in the arena, which means now they're running out of time. But it does mean it's time up for the chairman, because he starts to teleport away, and Baker holds on to him, and the two of them get teleported back to the Reggie's home planet. And this makes Sei worry, because it's like, oh no, Reggie's gone, and then he's just standing over there, fine, not giving a shit. Because it's Reggie. He's like, oh, they're gone? Okay, cool. But because of Neil specifically mentions that, like, the particles are dispersing, so we're kind of on the clock for if we want to fight anymore. This prompts Reggie to go, I want a real fight. Yuki, let's fight for real this time. No bullshit. I need to take a drink of water real quick. And you know, both of their Gundams are beating the shit out of, because just to point out, when Starbuild punched the stones twice, it lost both of it. It lost an arm per punch. So it is currently armless. And the Exia also received damage from this fight and is still not in good shape. So Mao and Ricardo donate arms and guns so that the Star Build has something. And then Alan goes, hey, Yuki, here's the Exia repaired a little bit more with, like, parts from the Camp for Amazing, actually. Which makes me just go, why are you not using Camp for Amazing at this point?
Fair.
But anyway, it's now time for the real final match, which Kira actually just digs up a camera from the arena and starts filming it and narrating it. It's just like, here's the real final, folks, if you're somehow watching this through means I'm not sure if I can even make happen with this camera. But it's the real final fight. So they come out swinging, trading blows, and dodging attacks from each other. And at a certain point, Reggie notes it's like, say you're a good pilot. You just think too hard. Think less, and you'll be a better pilot. And you'll be fine. And so he lands the star build. I guess Yuki takes notice of this and lands the Exia. And Reggie hands over the controls to say, So Sei finishes this fight against Yuki. And as we see kind of Reggie cheering on Sei, we see the gem on his bracelet is starting to crack. Meaning, I think in all honesty, this fight is entirely powered by his gem.
That's at least what they make it look like.
Yeah. So the only reason this fight happens is because of Sei's gem, which makes me wonder if Alia could have also powered it so we could get the end of this fight, because we get we only get the visual victory on this. We don't even get the real victory because they continue to trade blows and dodge until Sei gets the perfect dodge and gets in real close and is about to attack the Exia and looks like he's going to get the kill off of it before everything stops and powers down. So, legitimately, Sei would have beat Yuki, but it timed out. And now Reggie's glowing, and he's bidding farewell, and he promises to fight Sei again when he's stronger, and they're about to do a high five, but Reggie disappears before it connects. And now everyone's sad. And we see him back on his home planet, confirming that, nah, he wasn't bullshitting. That was real. Because when has Reggie ever lied in this series? To date.
I mean, yeah.
But funny enough, Alia is there next to him because she used the gem that Sei gave her to follow. And they proceed to argue because Reggie is a fucking clueless idiot and does not understand what Alia wants at all, because again, he's a fucking idiot. But now we more or less get a little montage kind of the next year, over the next year, as we see kind of where everyone's at. So Mao's hanging out with his master, the person from the first episodes doing her thing. Ricardo is just hanging out with Kiria at her concerts and stuff. Niels and Caroline develop an alternative for the plastic particles so that we can still do gunpla battles and stuff, without the need of the crystals and everything. Trying to think if I'm missing someone. Am I missing someone?
Did we see Lenny? Because I can't remember right offhand.
He's hanging out. He's doing the thing he did at the festival where he just is in the background, or he's just at one of Kiria's concerts, just in the back.
I think that might be it, though.
Yeah, because we end with Sei at again the qualifiers, with China cheering him on. Debuting his new Gundam, which is the Star Build, which is Build Strike Cosmos, as he's ready to defend his title. And we only see this Cosmos take off and see it activate the RG system, which has a blue and red aura to it, or this circular aura to it, because we're going to reference that Sei and Reggie more or less are blue and red. Before it takes off, we don't even get to see the fight, and we end there. That's the end of the season. So, how'd you feel about the final 2 episodes?
Felt like that was a good send-off, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it tied up the loose ends that we have had for a while.
Yeah. It feels weird to me doing all of this rewatch stuff, because I know where we pick up next with this, technically, because I think the only real pieces of media between the end of this series and the start of Try is, I think, GM's Counterattack, which is, I think, like a hour special of some sort. Something along those lines. That more or less is in between. It actually gives this small little, like, nod to the start of Build Fighters Try. Because pretty much the entire main cast of fighters reappear, or pretty much the entire main cast of Build Fighters reappears for that movie. Because I think it was made during Try's tenure? I think I might be wrong on that. But yeah, that's the only real thing. And again, I've said this before, but like most of this cast doesn't have a reappearance in Try. Like China, Rao, Niels, I'm trying to think of who else. I can only think of those three offhand are the only ones that really... Oh, Alan, because he runs like the rival team in Build Fighters Try. And Yuki, like those are the only like main cast members really that return for Try. Everyone else either doesn't appear or is only like hinted at to appear, but we don't see them in full. Like, Sei gets referenced because like the main character's Gunpla is actually made by Sei and hidden in his trophy, or his championship trophy, which I think is his solo championship trophy. Because I think the series confirms that Sei won the tournament on his own. I think the next year or something. But yeah, so like Sei gets referenced. We see a scene that implies that not only does Sei and Cheetah watch like the final match of Try's like big tournament, but so does Reggie and Alia, because it's a scene set with 4 chairs, and we know Cheetah's there, and it's implied that Sei's there, so it's like 2 more chairs. Reggie and Alia drop by for this one too, don't they? Because no one else makes sense for that scene. Like I said, like Alia and Reggie's kid shows up in Build Fighters Try's movie, which is Island Wars. But yeah, like there's plenty of connections going forward to Try. It's just once we hit Build Divers, kiss all those references goodbye, because Build Divers is kind of a start of its own continuity, because that is Gundam MMO, more or less. Yeah, that's the Gundam MMO where you actually just scan in your Gundam and you get a virtual version of it to go fight with. But yeah, I really like Build Fighters. It's kind of what got me interested in more Gundam stuff. Like, it's probably the main reason why I tried out the new Gundam mobile game that I stopped playing because it was a gacha game. But I am interested in, I think it's Build Breakers. I think it's the series that lets you, like, customize your own Gundam. Like, more or less in the vein of how stuff is done in, like, Build Fighters, where it's just like, here's this model, here's, like, a ton of parts. Like, build your own thing, more or less. I'm actually interested in seeing, like, alright, what's the best Build Breakers game, and maybe trying that one day. But this has definitely gotten me more interested in Gundam as a franchise. And once more again proves, I am a weird person when it comes to my entry points in franchises, where it's just like, oh yeah, my entry point in the Gundam was this weird one-off thing that has nothing to do with the franchise. And it's quite literally the most toyetic thing in the toyetic base series of this franchise. of any of them that is designed to sell toys. But how'd you feel about it by the end?
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm in the same boat as you. It's kind of, oddly enough, been the thing to interest me in Gundam.
I don't know where...
It is really good and definitely needs to be something people check out.
Especially because, bear in mind, it is officially available for free on YouTube with multiple language subtitle tracks and an English dub. There is no reason to not give this show a chance. And plus, it is 25 episodes. That is really short compared to a lot of things we talk about on this show and a lot of shows in general.
Yeah.
Like 25 episodes and you're done? Like, I will tell you this much because of the rewatches. You just watch one episode and then all of a sudden it's just like, wait, what do you mean I've been watching the show for like 2 hours? What do you mean I'm 6 episodes in? Oh no. Like, it's a really easy binge watch because everything just kind of chains together really easily. You just go from episode to episode.
Yeah.
It's just the same that a lot of the... Like, GM's Counterattack is not available on YouTube anymore. Like, you have to go, like, find that elsewhere. But Build Fighters Battlelog, which has some Build Fighters material, but it also has some Build Fighters Try material. So it's a weird mix of both. It's one of those things of, you don't watch that after watching Build Fighters. You watch Try, then you watch Battlelog, even though that has a Yuki versus Sei fight. That I think is technically a prequel to GM's Counterattack, because it's like the first debut of Sei's like fully suited up Strike Cosmos, I think. Yeah, I like this. Would love to do Try on here, since I think that's also a really good one. Like, Build Divers, I don't think is as good as the two of these, or its sequel, Re-Rise. So that'd be a little bit rougher to go through. But, I really would like to do Try at some point.
That might be the after Ichigo.
Yeah, that'd be a nice call out, Pinzer, after Ichigo. Just before we hit something longer, because we'll probably hit something longer after the two of them. But anything else?
No.
Alright then. Like I said, next week we are picking back up where we left off on Ichigo. I have to actually go look at the notes and be like, what episodes were we left off at?
Yeah, because I don't remember either.
We got that in this week. Tommy's doing something Wednesday. We got something Wednesday.
I don't know what.
Yeah. We are rounding out some more Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn on Thursday. Sword and Shield DLC for Crown Tundra Friday. And then Saturday will be Luigi's Mansion. So if you like what you see, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Jumping away at that affiliate call. At TG Saloon on Twitter. Gets the updates along the live. Next Discord and chat. Gets Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. We'll see you next time, folks.